let the chaos begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride loud within, this is where the game and fun begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride loud within, this is where the game and fun begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. Grab a seat, grab a drink, let the chaos begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride now within, this is where the game and fun begin. You're listening to Fools Rush In, where the passion and the chaos wins. With a town pride now within, this is where the game and fun begin.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to Fools Rush In. I'm hopeful and please, as I've put in the comments, please let me know if it's not the case. We are well aware that StreamYard was having major problems earlier. Bless him, poor Vic was having to battle on OSC. I'm hopeful we're not currently experiencing the same problems. Please do let us know if you encounter any. You can do that via Facebook, YouTube, or X, because we are streaming live to all of those apps, and the live chat facility is available. We have a cracking show lined up. It was a great weekend. If you follow any of the women's teams that we talk about here on FRI, and it was a mixed weekend for all of us who are Swindon Town fans. Depending on which of the panelists you talk to, everything's fine, or it's the worst possible thing that could have happened other than losing. I myself have a few potentially controversial or unpopular opinions about the whole thing, but hey, other results went our way, so it's fine, isn't it? It's all fine. Don't need to be cynical. Don't need to be negative. We don't need to worry. It's all part of the master plan. At least that's what certain percentage of the fan base will tell us. We have got everything from nuisance getting into the ground to everything that happened during the game, and even those who didn't see it through till full time. But not only that, we have our normal intro question, which I'm going back to our roots, and it is a food-based intro question. And please do, as I say, this is as much about you as it is us, so I would love as many of you as possible to get involved. And the intro question is simply this: one has to go forever. Which is it? Are you getting rid of burgers, pizza, curry, or kebab? One has to go forever. Which one? Burger, pizza, curry, kebab. Now, to give you an example, burgers covers all burgers. You know, kebab is all kebab. Similarly, curry is all curries. It's all encompassing. All pizza toppings, for example. So which one has to go forever? That is my question to you, and it is my question to tonight's panel, who I will introduce just as we say hello first to James, who says "Vamos," and Mike, who very delicately says, "Will we notice if Fools descends into chaos?" Almost certainly not, because it's what we do. This is why we're the least professional of all the content creators at Swindon Town, and this is why you love us so much. It's because we're chaotic, we're erratic, and we only make sense roughly 32.5% of the time. Let's start with the man who has been sat here the longest. We've discussed everything from dodgy Wi-Fi to future fashion choices for Fyfie. Good evening, Woz.
Good evening, mate. How are we?
I am very well, pal. How are you?
Yes, not too bad at all. Thank you, mate. Not too bad at all. When you say you asked me for fashion advice, you didn't, which was...
You gave an opinion.
I gave an opinion, but the wife is, definitely more her cup of tea than mine for that, definitely.
Yes, but she was on hand to help, which is good. It meant I got to speak to both of you pre-show.
That's always good, and we nearly flooded my house. Yeah,
you did. You did nearly flood the house. Which would be completely my fault for asking questions, of course.
Yeah.
So how's things What's going on? You must be gearing up because did I hear it's nearly Cheltenham?
Next week is Cheltenham, mate. Yes, it is.
Excited?
So, yeah, you know me. Like Christmas weekend, and ours is just like, oh, for God's sake. So yeah, I've got a full this week at work, and then I'm in on Monday next week at work, and then I am off for the week. I'm going to Cheltenham Tuesday and Thursday, hoping for a bit of nice weather, and hopefully it doesn't lash down with rain. I
think it's not been too dissimilar for you as it has for me here in the East Midlands. I believe I've counted, we've had 4 dry days in the entirety of 2026 so far.
Yeah. It's meant to be quite a nice week this week, which is quite typical. And then next week, they're already saying, oh, yeah, it's a bit uncertain. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake. Because Cheltenham's great, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing worse if it's tonking down with rain because it's just like everyone descends into the bars and it just gets a bit, you getting a drink can turn a bit nightmare. And it's one of those, but always looking forward to it. It's like Christmas week for me. It's a great laugh and doing a couple of days. So yeah, it's always good.
Fantastic. Just before we hear your answer to the intro question, 2.5 minutes into the big live game in the Championship, Birmingham have pulled one back. It's now Birmingham City 1, Middlesbrough 2. Huge game in the race for the Premier League. You're obviously a man who's getting in fine shape at the moment. So you're probably quite happy to ditch all of those things. But if one has to go, which are you picking? Burgers, kebab, pizza, or curry?
I love a burger. I love like a kebab is just like, it's that dirty treat, isn't it? Like I have it every now and then. For me, it's I'm torn between pizza and a curry because they're the least two that I have. If you were to push me, I like the boys we probably have pizza a bit more now than we do a curry. So if there was one that had to go, I'd probably say it'd have to be a curry for us. Like for me, a bit of an odd one, but burgers, pizza, and a kebab is I think those 3 would stay for me, and it would be the curry that's got to go.
Mike says Alex Ferguson once gave him 50 quid at Cheltenham Festival.
Wow,
there you go.
That wasn't even a tip.
Back in them days, 50 quid was worth something as well.
That isn't even a tip. He just gave you 50 quid. He obviously won. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously winning. So,
James says, kebab for me, no interest whatsoever. And that is why, mate, you are about a third of the size that I am, because I love a good kebab, mate. By the way, my answer for what it's worth, out of those 4 choices, I'm getting rid of curry all day long.
Oh,
I clearly love a burger. Clearly, I love a kebab, and pizza is quick. If you're having one at home, it's really quick, and if you're having one out, then the variety is all there. So yeah,
talking of pizza, and I'm going to probably go a bit off trail here. Funny enough, we had a pizza Saturday night because the boys wanted one and Theo wanted one for Gladiators. Domino's is the best delivery on a takeaway that I've ever known. Like
the price you pay for it, mate, they fucking better be.
Yeah, but you don't mind when the service, 15, 20 minutes, it was at my door. Piping hot, big, pizza, sides, the whole shebang. And I just love it. When you order a Mackey's and you order I know I shouldn't be lazy and should just go out and get it, but sometimes you're waiting. You're just waiting for ages, isn't you? Even a curry, on a Saturday night, can take you an hour sometimes to get it. And by the time you've got it, you've gone off fancying it. So you're like, oh, and stuff like that. But it's, it's just, No, I don't live near Tall Hill, Jay. I live in Rodbourne, so we're quite close to the West Swindon one. So it's so easy.
I was going to say that there is definitely a Domino's kind of Rodbourne, Westcott Place area that is on your doorstep.
2 people at the game on the Monjaro, Steve Evans and Wazza. Yeah, cheers, John. Thank you, mate. Yeah. He was a bit shocked when I told him. He was going, Wazza, you're on it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, but I've read somewhere that Steve Evans isn't on it. I know he's lost.
He's always claimed he's not on it.
He has claimed that he's not. Yeah. You know what I mean? He said it's just gone. You know what I mean? From him doing lifestyle changes and everything like that. So fair play to him, to be honest.
Well, sit back and relax for a minute while we introduce the rest of the panel. Next on, I'm going to bring the man who's going to challenge in this year's Rate the Fools, going to challenge Garv and Craig for sexiest fool. Look at the glow up this boy has had. Evening, Woody.
I don't know about that much, mate. Good lighting. And I'm on my iPad.
Is that what it is? Good
Yeah. The iPad does favours. It's actually a filter.
Who is the new
Yeah.
guy? Who's the new guy? Who's the new guy? Top right.
Yeah. Although I just watched a bit of a straggler there. Calling from Thetford near
Everybody's just got in from a night out in Suju.
Out in Suju, yeah.
Woody, how did you afford
It
that
sounds like
haircut?
Suju.
How did you afford that haircut with the mishap?
Well, it's the most expensive haircut in the world, actually. Luckily, the Aki came in on Saturday. But it does feel like Suju sometimes there at the moment because I'm probably about 5 miles less than 5 miles away from RAF Lakenheath, and for some reason that's really busy at the moment. So it's there's a few jets going, kind of circling every now and then on regular training routines, obviously. So this Premier Inn is quite an old one, and it shakes every now and then. So exciting stuff. I don't know what I'm on today. I didn't go on Saturday. Something to do whilst I'm here.
I can tell you why you're on, Woody, because after we witnessed the problems that the OSC had, you're here for when my laptop goes bang or something, because it's clearly going to happen.
Yeah.
You're here because you will definitely have an opinion on tonight's intro question, if nothing else. I noticed you had to disappear out the lobby briefly. So
I heard it.
Heard it.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, so you've got the choice of pizza, burger, kebab, or curry. One has to go.
For me, pizza. Probably because that's the one I like the least out of all. Like they're all. I mean, curry. I have to fundamentally disagree with you two. Curry is right at the top for me. That is my. Curry is one of those where it's the elite one, or you're not fussed. Yeah. I get that. I mean, I absolutely love a curry. So, kebab, I agree with Wazza. I think if kebabs disappeared, it would almost be like my gut would be thankful, but at the same time, drunk meat on a night out wouldn't. So it's and I think you can't be a good burger, can you? There's too much variety in a burger. So you can have a shit burger and it still tastes good, whereas you can have a shit pizza, it tastes undercooked. So it's unfortunately it's pizza for me. My kids would kill me if that happened, but pizza definitely.
Okay, excellent. And the same as was, just how's things? Obviously, we saw each other last time out, but what's going on? How was your weekend?
It was good. My team didn't lose on Saturday, so there's a result. We drew with the team that beat us 3-0 last week. We had a bit of a Swindon-Salford arrangement. We ended up playing the same team in 7 days in the league because of postponements. But it was good. It was. I still gutted it didn't go. It sounded like it was a decent crowd, and the game didn't sound too bad, to be fair, from what I heard about it. So obviously I always miss going, but I'm just glad February's over and done with now, because now we can actually have some normal kickoffs. Good weekend. I went to a wedding fair on Sunday as well. It's the only one I decided to go to, which is the one we were getting married. So at the De Vere, so it was the Cotswold, sorry, and that was it's like 150 sales pitches. I swear, I was absolutely fucking knackered at the end of it. So I decided I'm not going to anymore. That is me done now for wedding fairs.
You've shown up, you've done your bit, you've played your part.
Done my bit. Yeah, I've done my bit. I've given it a chance.
Well, you can sit back and relax as well, because we have two more fools to introduce for tonight's show, starting with the man who has definitely enjoyed all four of our intro questions, probably in the same evening, I'm sure. Evening, Nick.
Oh, you couldn't be further from the truth, Fyfie.
Note to self, Nick can't detect sarcasm. I imagine you'd be quite happy to bin all four of them off, Nick.
No. Kebabs, yeah, wouldn't worry me that much. I'd eat them, but it wouldn't be my first choice. Pizza, not a great lover, but I'll eat them. Actually, my favourite pizza is Tesco's chili chicken pizza. That's decent. Burgers, banging. Yeah, as someone said, you can get any variety of burgers, from the crap that I won't buy McDonald's because they're a waste of time, money, and it's absolute shit, to proper burger,
However,
pub burger.
If anyone from McDonald's is watching, we're always looking to sponsors.
All the chain, they're all rubbish. So God knows what you're actually eating. But you go to a decent pub and get a nice big thick meaty burger with all the trimmings. Yeah, you got a job to beat that. Curry, not for me. No, no, not a curry eater at all. So I'd bin that straight away. So yeah, I'm not you two. Curries don't do it for me.
Luckily for the curry trade, Woody is here propping it up because fools are not giving it a good.
That's why he's here.
I'm sorry, I thought there was a load of blokes on our podcast. What type of podcast is this?
So, Nick, how's things? What's going on?
Yeah, it's all good. Quite a week ahead, so nothing too major. Had some work done in the back garden. That's all finished. The company said it would take 2 weeks, and they're bang on 2 weeks. So couldn't fault them. They were really, really good. Had some good workers. The guys worked their guts out. So yeah, really pleased.
Good.
Yeah,
good. Very happy to hear it. This is a fantastic panel. But what I like is when we go five-a-side on these things, because it means there is always a winning vote. The worst that can happen is it's 3-2 because there's no fence sitting. Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. We have a fifth, and it is someone who in recent times I have actually seen more in real life than I have on the screen, which is always a pleasure for me. But now you get the pleasure of him being back. Evening, Arch.
Evening, mate. You all right?
Oh, no.
Very well, thank you, sir. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. So
Good.
I did say
Glad
to Joe
to
the
hear
other day that was the only thing that stopped making me feel so guilty. Is the amount of times
What?
I've seen you.
It's like you'd see me in real life.
Yeah. But yeah. I've been
It's only because our kids, Arch, want to go to every single away game.
Oh, really, mate?
That's what I was just doing. I was just putting us in our season ticket order. On the there we go. That's row V or whatever row we are.
Top of the D, mate.
So how's things, Arch? What's going on with you? How is everything?
Yeah, all good, mate. We're sound. So yeah, it's
Good.
been a bit busy, but yeah, all good now. So
Good.
yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it. I don't know if you've caught the intro question or not, but I'm sure it's one that you have a very strong opinion of. One has to go forever: pizza, kebab, burger, or curry. Are you going to join Team Woody and the curry revolution of FRI, or are you going to bin him off and say, no, I'm not a curry fan either?
I mean this in the nicest way. Me and Woody don't always agree on everything, but on this one, he's spot on.
Okay.
So yeah, curry all the way for me.
Okay.
And pizza just don't feel like a meal, to be honest. If I had to ditch one. Plus, there's loads of different kebabs.
Fair.
And just all be a dirty doner, is it?
Exactly. Well, cometh the hour, cometh the man. Middlesbrough have restored their 2-goal lead in the live football. It's now Birmingham City 1, Middlesbrough 3 in the battle in the race for the Premier League. But enough of that
You're ahead
nonsense.
of that on me, and you keep fucking it up for me, mate. So yeah.
Yeah? Well, what you want to do then is you want to listen to me and quickly put a bet on. If I'm that far ahead.
No, it was only just. It's just shown it now.
That's a great header, by the way. Fantastic header. Let's get down to the matter at hand. Good evening, Sean, who's joined in. And I have now seen that we've got people commenting on Facebook, YouTube, and X. So hopefully all is working well. Nick, I'm going to come to you to start off with, because I want to talk about before the game. And you were regaling Wazza and I and Woody just as he came on with a very interesting story. That there was a big call and a big pull for the fans to really turn up. We keep getting the letters from the captain, the videos from the fan favourites, and then the fans in the media saying, come on, let's do this, let's get behind them. There'll be all sorts going on. Roughly 12,500 people there. Swindon have had issues getting people into the ground for less than half that attendance. How was it, Nick?
Well, I hark back to the days when we have 6,500 because it's so much easier. Sod this, all these people coming out of the woodwork. Just stay away. It just spoils the day. So we don't want any more local derbies because they mess it up as well because they have to put police out on overtime, police in it. So yeah, so it was interesting. So I planned ahead really well.
Okay.
Because I normally park at the cricket ground, but the guy said, "Oh, we're opening at 9:30 and there won't be many spaces." So I thought, well, I'm not going to get there for that from the distance I travel. So I managed to book a spot in the ground car park, and so that's okay. So I don't need to rush and get there. So coming off the Magic Roundabout, police car blocking the exit. Oh, Christ's sake. So he says, no, you can't go down there, mate. I said, hang on. I said, I've got a space booked in the ground. That's all I want to do is get in there. I ain't going any further. Nah, they got the riot vans down there. You ain't going there. Okay, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, find somewhere else to park. Oh, yeah, that's going to be easy, isn't it? Like it's 12 o'clock. And so he said, well, you'll have to turn round. So, okay, turn round. Oh, sod this. So I looked in the corner of the car park and there's a gap. So across the pavement, across the verge, straight into the car park. I thought, I'm not messing about with this. Get in there. So as it turned out, it was okay. But what a ball's ache. So all these people saying, oh, I'm never going to come again. Don't. Just bloody stay away. Makes it easier for us regulars.
I could see that Sean said there so many decided to turn up near kickoff didn't help. How did you find it generally? Did you notice just on the walk in and stuff that there was a significant amount more people?
Well, if I was honest, I was quite well organised actually. I was up early, played golf early, and then I was home, and then Theo was up, and Alice was like, "Right, I'll take you to football." We were up football for 11:15 and we were straight in the ground. There wasn't a queue, and I think Sean's point was bang on. So many people for a derby, they've gone in the local pub for the before. I had a couple of beers at Digby's in the Don Rogers because it was just easy, get in, don't worry about the queues, and it was really quiet in there an hour before kickoff, and then we had a couple of beers easy. The bar just started to fill up about 12, and then you noticed that the concourse at the bottom was proper busy. So it does. It's one of those games, and we get them a few times a year, don't we, with the derbies and stuff like that. Sometimes I just don't understand is that you've got all of these, but just sometimes it feels like they ain't got all the turnstiles open and everything going. That's just the logical thing, isn't it? There's going to be a big crowd. Open all the turnstiles. Just have them all open. Get someone on there. Whatever you need to do to make it flow quicker or better. It's just the logical thing, isn't it? But no, for me, no problem because we were there. We were there a bit early. Had a couple of beers before the game. Joe's boy Alfie took Theo down to the Junior Reds room so I could have a couple of beers with all of us. So that was easy. So I didn't have Theo nagging in my ear going, "Can we go up yet, Dad? Can we go up yet?" So that was quite good. So all good to be fair. Nothing to complain from my end. But yeah, fair play to you, Nick, driving over the verge and getting in, mate. You paid for that space. You get in there, mate. No problem.
Yeah, too right. You can't mess about, can you? You just got to go for it.
You'd have gone to the copper. Were you going to give me my tenner, mate? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you're blocking my way.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit. He said, well, I'll just find somewhere else to park. Well, that's really helpful. Cheers, pal.
Yeah, cheers, bud. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Mike says, so it wasn't fault that they ran out of beer by half time.
Come on, Mike. 2 beers, mate. Wow. It could be with Swindon. You could have 2 pints and they'd run out. But no, definitely not me, mate.
James says it was carnage. We had to wait 20 minutes to let the Rovers fans and police go by. Arch, as you were walking into the ground and getting in and stuff, could you feel a Derby Day atmosphere, a game that was important for both clubs, and a heightened number of crowd, or did it just feel like any other game?
No, I didn't really, mate, to be fair, but I was similar to Wazza because I was worried about the park in itself. And I usually park at B&M's and pay for a slot, but there's no one managing it. So if it's full, isn't it? So, yeah, we probably got there about 11:15 and then walked round. So we didn't even queue too much to get in. But, yeah, sort of later on, it was a bit busy down there and everything. But, yeah, I didn't really notice on the way in, to be honest, mate.
Okay, and this is to all three of you, whoever was jumping first. How was that kind of, I don't know, 15 minutes before, just as the players are about to go in, and then the couple of minutes as they come out the tunnel? Did it have that feel that people were pushing for? Could you tell there was a real effort being made to build an atmosphere?
Yeah, you could tell there was an effort, but I think Sean's point was that it was after kickoff where you noticed that there were still people flooding in. Like they were saying about the town end being full, but just before kickoff, that I looked over. I think I even said to Arch, or to Ben, who was someone who sat next to us. I said, "Look, God, they said the town end's full," and there was like it wasn't at all. But everyone's obviously been in the County Ground Hotel or in the pub, and they've come over and then and stuff like that, and it just takes a long time to get in, but. You could see there was a real effort. They had the streamers, didn't they? Like they said they were going to have, and tried to create a bit of an atmosphere. For me, in the game, I think it was like the first. Well, I know we're going to come on to that, but the first half I just thought was a bit of a damp squid. There wasn't really much to it until Rovers scored. Really, there was moments, obviously, where we had our chances, but we tried to build a bit of an atmosphere. But I've always said this: you can do that, but it's got to come from the players giving you something, I feel personally, to cheer about, or to get you on the edge of your seat, or to get you up. So, and there was a few moments of that, but no, look, overall for a Derby Day, it was pretty decent, and you know what I mean, a good atmosphere. You know what I mean, even the Rovers fans made some noise.
Okay. And how about for you, Nick? Did you get that sense? And like, was it kind of an initial thing and then it kind of doled out again, or did you feel like there was a real effort?
Yeah, there was obviously a good effort from the kiddie that sorted out doing the stuff in the town end. That's probably the fullest I've seen the town end this season, which is good. That always helps. That's where it's going to generate from. So they did their bit. Actually, I slightly disagree with Woz. For the amount of Rovers fans, and usually with a big away following, you get a lot more noise. And I thought they were relatively quiet. But as was said, that's probably the way the first half went, because they, apart from the goal, I can't remember them creating anything else. So they didn't have a lot to cheer about. And we had, ours wasn't... for a derby game, it wasn't played like a derby game. Yeah. It wasn't like an Oxford or a Bristol City where... players are steaming into each other. I don't know if football's different nowadays because you can't even look at a player without a bloody free kick being given. But it wasn't your typical, guts and thunder game. So, and that's the sort of games you need to generate the atmosphere. And then it's genuine atmosphere, like was said. And it comes from what happens on the pitch. So it wasn't, with the fans there, yeah, that made it a derby. But what happened on the pitch, it was, to be fair, not that much difference to any other game that I've seen this season at the County Ground.
Okay. Let's talk about that first half then. I know Woz just described it as a damp squib. Arch, I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to kick things off with, I don't know whether it's a controversial opinion or or what's the word I'm looking for, or maybe just an unpopular opinion. Swindon, and again, I can only work off what I've seen, what I've read, and the highlight package, which I presume is what Woody would be working off as well when I come to him shortly. Swindon seem to they seem to grow into the game quicker, from what I gather. That we seem to be, although it wasn't a great first half football, we did seem to be the better of the teams. There was an early we'll call it penalty claim, but I'm going to be honest. I think Drinnan's got very lucky not to get booked for diving.
Yeah, I shouted for it at the time because you will, wouldn't you, all day long?
Of course you will, yeah.
But yeah, I know he had contact on his arm at one point, but he'd have been better off just staying on his feet and drilling it towards a goal, surely.
Yeah.
You know,
agree.
It didn't look enough to even put him off balance as such, because I think he was free long before he fell over.
Yeah, no, I mean, me and Ben had a very brief exchange of messages about it just before the show tonight, and I jokingly said, he said there was definitely contact, and I went, I'm not disputing there was contact. You could definitely see that he's got Drinnan's arm, but he let go of it about half an hour before Drinnan fell over.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look any firm contact, to be fair. I don't even think he was really necessarily pulling him back with much force anyway.
Just seeing the reaction in the chat to this. James says 100% should have stayed on his feet. Lipo says Drinnan stays up, he scores. Woody, you would have seen this incident, I'm sure. What do you make of it?
Yeah, he should have stayed on his feet. I don't understand why he went down, to be honest. I agree with Arch. I don't think there was really that much in it that made him go down anyway, even if it was straight after. It just seemed a bit daft. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking a mix of fortunes for the one he didn't get at their place. He was thinking, well, if I actually dive, I might get a penalty. But yeah, it was a strange decision, because I can't remember if it was it before or after that kind of half volley that he did from Hoylett.
That was before, yeah.
It was before. So, I mean, when you look at that then later, he was obviously feeling confident going into the game. So I think a striker only goes down, or desperately goes down, if they're not feeling confident at that point. And so I saw on the highlights. I agree with ours. Probably if I was there, I'm probably screaming for it to be a penalty, just because the player's gone down when I feel like they've been touched. But I guess TV always makes the game look slower. So it's, I could kind of see how it probably, looking back, it looks like a really bad dive, but in motion, in person, it probably looks a little bit closer to call.
Just jumping ahead slightly, Woody, because you brought it up, and comparing incidents in this game to the reverse fixture a couple of months ago, I wonder how Drinnan also felt when he saw a Bristol Rovers fan celebrate in front of the town end and not get ending up with a match ban.
Yeah, I mean, It's a strange one, because I think I was listening to Low Strangers on the way to work earlier, and I think the problem is it's not necessarily the lack of consistency here. It just reflects on how bad that decision was against Bristol Rovers, because players do it all the time. And to be honest, I don't want it to go. I love it when a player winds up the fan base. That's part of the game. So even if Aaron Drinnan did do it on purpose or goad them on purpose, it shouldn't have been a booking, in my opinion. But I mean, that was obvious, wasn't it? You cup your ears and stuff. But and the lads will say different. They were there. From what I understand, the referee was pretty consistent, if nothing else, over the whole game for both teams. From what I read up, but and that's all I ask for. You could be a shit referee, but if you're consistent, that's all that matters, because at least both teams know where they stand. Then, so, yeah, it was yeah.
So was a couple of tactical things to pick up on. Everyone's new favourite Canadian, Julia Hoylett, was again in the starting lineup. Everyone seems to see, it's one of these things, every single fan seems to see that he is destined for that number 10 role, but he is consistently put out wide. And he has an effect. That's not beating about the bush. He still has an effect, but maybe he could be more penetrative for us if he was played in that central role, that old acre role, the man who's disappeared off the face of the earth. Equally, and I'm sure going into it, you were all delighted. Our captain, our real man, our superhero, Ollie Clark, was starting in midfield until his deputy went off injured, and then because we apparently in our majorly full squad of players, we have nothing that resembles a centre back, he was once again put back into centre back.
Right. So yeah, with the Hoylett situation, I think he had a couple of moments in the game. I think his pass over to Drinan for Drinan's chance for where the keeper made a decent save was good. I don't think anyone else sees that pass, to be honest with you. It was a decent, decent ball over. I agree. I don't think he suits it out wide. He obviously he's going to have lost that yard of pace that Junior Hoylett was known for. Do you know what I mean? When he was a winger and he was taking on his fullback, I just don't know if he's got that anymore. I think in the middle of the pitch,
he's got the yard up here, though. He has. Here.
Yeah, but then he can use that in the middle of the pitch where it's a bit more cramped and a bit more that he can just get away from players. But when he's one-on-one against a fullback, I think people fancied having him with pace, and they did. You know what I mean? They were pretty comfortable with him. I don't think it was the most effective game. And I totally agree with Jay's comment. I don't think he wasn't very effective. We can't default him for a lack of trying. He definitely tried to make things happen, but it just wasn't his sort of game for us, I don't think. I was happy to see Clark in midfield, especially in a game like this. It seemed like they just gave him a free role and said, Ollie, go and do what you want, because he was pressing all over the park, trying to get in people's faces. Just someone you need in the centre of the park in a derby game, because he was just sort of everywhere. Like I say, you can sort of question his quality on the ball, but we can question that all year round with Ollie Clark. One day he'll turn up and he does like he done at Barnet. At the end of the day. Yeah, he does. He scores 2 like he did at Barnet, and then today on Saturday, he wasn't the most effective on the ball, but off the ball he definitely helped us. A couple of little tactical tweaks, and then it was a shame to see him go back into centre half, especially when you had, we did have Kirkman on the bench that could have come on and gone into that role at centre half, but I suppose he wanted a bit more experience and know-how, and Clark does give you that, whether we don't agree if he plays in that position. But I feel like we then lost that bit of bite in the midfield when Clark went back into the back three. So, and then it got a bit stretched in the second half. But I understand the changes. I understand that Holman didn't start, because I get it. You want a bit more of an experience, someone who's been there and done it, and Hoylett definitely fits that bill. I just didn't think it really worked out for him in the game, apart from that moment for the ball over to Drinan, which was decent. So it was just one of them. The changes, I understand, but they didn't really work.
I just want to double check. I'm not in the industry of comparison, but knowing that the issues that our friends over at OSC had earlier and their connection issues, they also had an issue where one of their panelists had to disappear for a fire alarm. Is everyone okay? I'm hearing a buzzing going off on one of your from one of your rooms.
That might have been the washing machine again, mate. Sorry, that's my bad.
It sounded like the
disappear was.
Yeah, it sounded like a washing machine finished in its cycle.
Yeah, sounded like one of those posh washing machines that give you a little sing song when it's finished.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Just why does it need to tell you when it's done? Ellen, the washing's done. No, sorry.
I was going to say, I thought it was for Ellen, because you wouldn't know what to do.
She can't hear me. She's upstairs. Can't hear me.
Ellen, I can't open the washing machine.
Jane says that wasn't pizza he's trying to give up. And Matt says, do you think we have the players for autos, but we just don't play the players in the right positions or tactics? Matt, if ever there was a comment that summed up exactly what I try and put in the Fools WhatsApp chat, that's pretty much it. There it is again. Someone needs to go and open the washing machine. Why he keeps
doing it. I'm going to go and kick the thing in a minute. I tell you, I know it's done, mate.
Pete's here. Evening Pete says, elephant in the room. Where was Mbete on Saturday? I'm beginning to get a real issue with this. A real issue with this, because he's not injured. He is there, but he's just not being played. And I'm starting to get a new...
Fyfie, on Matt's comment, that is a real fair comment, because I think we could all agree, for me, Nick and Arch, that were all there on Saturday. I think the players are right, but the tactics seem to be wrong. Every ball on Saturday just seemed to be kicked over the top. We didn't even try to get the ball down, in my opinion. I just think we literally, every time we got it in the middle of the park, obviously it was told that Kilkenny and Borland, all they wanted them to do was chip a ball over to the top into the channels. And I just thought it was we were a bit predictable. I don't know if it was... We were a bit afraid to, like in a derby game, that we weren't going to get the ball down and try and knock it round them. We were just conscious of being in trouble, or getting caught out and losing it in a big game, or what we would call a big game in the derby. But we just didn't get the ball down. We would literally. I'd be interested to see what the other guys think. I just felt like we didn't try to pass the ball in the whole game. I think it was literally just chipping the balls over the top into the channel. That's what I thought it was.
So on the one hand, and I've gone on record many times saying this, not just on Fools, but I've commented on other people's content saying the same thing. I'm a strong believer with the squad we have, Route 1 Swindon doesn't work. We need to just stop that shit. But on the subject in hand, and I'll open this up to any of you, Arch, I don't know if you want to come in first on this. My real issue with this thing at the moment is we keep being told, the only substantial thing we get told about Mabete is that because of his age and his inexperience, he has concentration issues. That's the thing we keep being fed. I cannot stand for this when 4 games in a row now, we've conceded the first goal. Okay? We keep playing midfielders in defence, and the timing of the goals, I think in at least 2, if not 3 of those last 4 games where we've conceded first, it's been pretty much on the stroke of half-time, give or take a couple of minutes. There's no way you could tell me that having Mabete there is going to cause us more of a problem than not having him there. Arch, I don't know what you think on that one.
No, I think, if Holloway's got his doubts about him, then that's one thing. But why he's not in the squad is another. Do you know what I mean? That's what I don't understand. I mean, I know everyone says that he hasn't got the concentration levels and whatnot, but I haven't really seen him do anything wrong yet. He's got a red card in him all day long. How
many points he's supposed to have cost us?
He's got a red card in him all day long. I know that, and I think everyone else does and appreciates that. But at the same time, he's probably been the best defender we've had. So
at the same time, I know it's different. But Drinnan's missed about 5-6 games through suspension. Clark's missed about 12 games through suspension. Holloway's been sent off for, I think, the second time since he's been here. Yeah. We can't write Mabete off because he's supposedly got a red card in him.
No, I mean, if they're setting those examples, what do they expect? I put that comment myself the other day in the group, didn't I? But everyone seems to love Knight LaBelle. I don't really. All I ever see him do is hang off players and grab onto him. I don't really see him do a great deal. So why Holloway loves him so much and won't give Mabete a chance, I don't know. I really don't.
The thing is
that's why you wanted to jump in here.
Well, Mabete is even statistically our best defender. So I don't buy this concentration thing. He's still a professional footballer. He's come through a system that's incredibly hard to come on through. He's come through the Premier League Academy system. The concentration thing's a load of bollocks. And I root it back. And, for me, I do see where Arch is coming from, but I'd be a hypocrite if I 100% agree, because for me, Knight LaBelle has been our most improved player, or one of most improved players since he came in my opinion. But the only reason Mabete, I don't know about the squad, but the reason he's not getting the starting 11 is because we don't want to pay the wages to Bristol City if Knight LaBelle doesn't play. So it's that is the only reason. And I would much rather Holloway came out and just was honest and said, look, he's a lone player. He's probably got XYZ contract that he has to play a certain amount of games. Otherwise, we have to pay a wage on him. But yeah, and to be honest, if he's got a lack of concentration problem, then that wouldn't necessarily keep you out of a whole match day squad for me. And we're at a time that you're looking at, you need defenders on the bench, you need defenders in the squad, in the lineup. Why would you not put another defender on the bench then instead? There's defenders in the under 18s they could call upon, things like that. And I know people will come and say, yeah, but we need experience at this time. But I would much rather not put somebody who is pinnacle to our midfield out of position at the sacrifice of maybe needing to use him as a defender. So yeah, it's I do get the argument. I've said Mabete, I like him a lot. He is a liability, but that's because he's a traditional defender. Most traditional defenders are a bit liable. They put their body. Finley Munro was the same. how many yellow cards did Finley Monroe get? How many yellow cards did Tom Wilson-Brown get? They're all the same. They don't have concentration issues. So, you know, it's I just don't buy. I reckon there's something else there.
Well, on the subject of there being something else, Lepo has said, and I have seen this as a rumour, he's late often, question mark. Now, Andrew Hawes was on OSC earlier.
And say that.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's been no actual suggestion that that's the case. There is a rumor that that's the case, but no actual suggestion. Now, Holloway's not backwards and coming forwards. If that was the case, he would say he doesn't turn up for training, he doesn't play.
Exactly. What is wrong with coming out in the press and saying we've got a few discipline issues, even if he doesn't go into the lateness, because that's a discipline issue. We've got a discipline issue. That's why, not a concentration issue. I don't buy it. I think it's a load of bollocks. I generally think that Mbete is, and I think I said this kind of towards the end of last year. He's a bit of a cop-out player. He's a player that's probably easy for Holloway to drop because he is ours for 2 years. Have we got him for 2 years at least in terms of his contract? He is a youngster. We haven't got the pressures of, well, not that he ever plays at the moment, but we haven't got the pressures of Tafazorli knocking on the door, wanting to play football. We haven't got the pressures of loan players. You haven't got your vice captain who's in and out of the team. You know, so I just think that Mbete, and I don't know if the lads agree, but for me, it's it almost feels like he's just the easy player to drop. He's that player that when you're doing youth football or grassroots football, he's that player that you know the parents aren't going to moan when he's not playing, so you drop him. You know, so it's just one of those.
You could argue that Wright was pretty late to deal with that defender at the weekend, and he's our fucking vice captain.
I felt sorry for Wright, to be fair, at that point, because he was the only player I know that seemed to find that little bit of like treacle sponge stuck in the mud when he was running after the one bad patch of the pitch.
Well, we're going to come on to that in just a moment. But
yeah, Mbete should be playing. It's too important to give excuses like his concentration. He should be playing.
Nick, I just want to give you your chance to have your say on our. I'm going to refer to it as a centre-back crisis. We've got two that can't play, two that can hardly play, and one that's not allowed to play.
I think not the problem. I think my view of how Holloway sees it, he doesn't want what he would term inexperienced defenders in, like a Nike LaBelle and a Mbete. He wants one.
He's played like LaBelle and Wilson Brown together.
But yeah, probably. But that was sort of my take, that he wants a Wright alongside them or a Taff alongside them, and to have that bit of experience. I mean, I agree with everybody else, and I think what we miss in the team, and I've sort of said it all season, is we miss a character. We miss a McCurdy. We miss a Anthony Grant. We miss somebody who's going to get the fans up. And the players we've got that could do that, if you had Mbete and Holman in that side, that's two players that just want to play football.
Fans gravitate towards.
Yeah, they give their all, and the fans absolutely love them, and it will get the atmosphere going. I mean, I would have those two starting every week, irrespective of who else is available. We'll come on to wider issues with. Yeah, he's all or nothing, isn't he? And he's that, like, Duracell battery. You don't stop, and that's what you want. You want somebody who's going to give it all. And I mean, his attitude is brilliant. I know at Rotherham, right? He was on the bench and he got booked because when we scored the winner, he ran across the pitch and dived in amongst the players celebrating. But that's what you want. That's what I want to see. I want to see players doing that, and not the, oh yeah, we scored a goal, let's just get back, let's fake. You want someone giving it. And, Holman does it. Certainly Mbete does it. But apart from that, even drilling when he scores, it's not like it's a great big round of excitement, because it's like yeah, I've scored and let's get on with it, which is fine. I can understand it, but I just want someone to give that team a oomph. I think that's what we're missing.
No, that's very fair. Very, very fair, I would say. Okay, I've managed to draw it out for nearly an hour, but I think we're going to have to talk about it. Swindon Town once again displayed the art of how not to defend by allowing Bristol Rovers to virtually completely unopposed run the length of the pitch, cut inside and score. What I will say, and it's the only thing I will say of a positive note on this, and I begrudge doing it because it's Bristol Rovers, but there we go. Very tidy finish. Very tidy.
Finish was good. Yeah.
Okay. But fuck me, do I have a problem with... I was listening again. Clearly, I was listening to OSC earlier, and I didn't even necessarily agree with them. I have two issues here. Will Wright being fundamentally shit at defending is the first problem. Okay. I don't know how he's managed to get in front of the attacker and then still somehow be slower than him. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Ollie Clark, I'm going to give a slight benefit of the doubt because he was already on a yellow.
Yeah.
But, and I know hindsight is a wonderful thing, but I would rather, and this might be wrong, and I'm sure Woody in particular will tell me it's wrong from a coaching perspective. I would rather, if Will Wright's not going to do his job, which is the fundamental issue number one, I would rather Ollie Clark takes the red card and takes him out and we play with 10 men, but we haven't conceded, than Ollie Clark stands there, lets him run past him, he scores, and nothing happens because of it. They both.
Yeah,
I have a real issue with them both in this situation. I will give Clark a slight benefit of the doubt because of the yellow. And Will Wright, honestly, he is not a defender. I do not care what anyone says. He is not a defender. He cannot defend. Go on, Nick. I'll let you go because you said my name.
I did look at it, and it was a disaster from as soon as they took the free kick. It was just so poor. But if in fairness to Clark, and correct me if I'm wrong, but by the time he'd gone through right, and for Clark to do anything, I think he was so close to the penalty area. If he took him out, there's a great danger of A, getting sent off and B, giving a penalty away as well. So I might be remembering that not quite 100%, but it looked like he was getting very close to it. And obviously, it's easy watching it, on a video replay in from the stands. But to me, it looked like whatever he was going to do, he was going to be in big trouble if he had taken the player out.
What I don't get is that, I listened to Marcus at the end of the game, and some of these footballers, they get given information and they don't take it on board. Like you'd be crucifying them, and they deserve to get crucified because you could clearly see that guy was all 1 foot. Show him down the line. We did it at Notts County, didn't we? A few weeks back away. Jody Jones, all left foot. What did we do?
We were both screaming at Jody Jones.
We were instead of showing him inside. It's not hard, is it? Your body shape and your angles just got to be right. And Wright and Clark were just completely. And I agree with you. I'd give Clark
is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, if Clark does take him down, he is going to get another yellow because of how close denying an opportunity and all stuff like that. So he's definitely going to get a second yellow.
I say he could take the second yellow and get sent off, but at least we don't concede. No. There is always the third option of he could just win the ball.
Yeah, well, yeah, both of them should have done that, but it was ridiculous because they didn't show him down the line. They've let him come inside, and he sort of weaved in between both of them, isn't he? And I agree, the finish was really good. Great finish from the lad, to be honest. But when you're given that information, and Marcus made that perfectly clear at the end that we've told him, he is one of the players that we've concentrated on from Bristol Rovers, that we know that he's very good at getting forward, got a good left foot on him. So when you had the opportunity then to show him down the line and put him on his right foot, and you're then pushing him away from goal by showing him on his right foot, instead we've just gone, I tell you what, mate, have it onto your left foot, your stronger one, and have a strike on goal. I don't think they were expecting him, obviously, to score. Obviously not, but it was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's just basic defending, really, and that's what we've
expecting the man mounting Ripley to pull off the save, weren't they?
Yeah, but
he was very quick to blame everyone else.
Well, I just think it was an awful, and like I say, this is moments that we've had this season with defending. We just have awful moments, and we can see goals, so they get highlighted. Look, we wouldn't even be talking about this moment if the guy doesn't score. So you know what I mean. So that's the first point about it, but. It was just ridiculous bit of defending, especially when you've been given that information that you know that he's left-footed, he's going to go down the line, you need to push him down the line, and we didn't do it. It was awful from both of them, to be honest.
I mean, Arch, there was clearly, as Woz says, that information was clearly there because there was a moment in the second half where he gets towards the penalty area again, and I counted no fewer than 6 Swindon players around him. Like, all the other players were free in the area because the 6 Swindon players just created a semicircle around him to not let him onto his left foot.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time it's all or nothing, and I would argue it's a lapse of concentration from the 10 outfield players, to be fair, but there we go.
Imagine what would have happened if Mbete was there then.
Well, this comes back to the same argument, doesn't it? But yeah, no, Wright just got skinned, totally skinned. It was, no. He just shouldn't have that space. But then again, like you said, we did it, like was said, at Notts with Jody Jones. But not only did we let him do that, half the time we left him fucking unmarked. And it was that player that was looking a nuisance practically the whole game. And it's fucking stupid. I don't really know what else to say. I don't know what else to say, mate. It's just
Woody,
fucking mark him and fucking deal with him.
I appreciate. Well, this is it, Arch, and so Woody, I know that I've got a real issue with what I perceive as a very, very poor level of ability to defend throughout the whole team, and I hate being the one that week in, week out has to say the same thing, but surely there comes a point where, whether it's a responsibility thing, whether it's a general ability thing, you know, we've got essentially in that moment, we've got our captain and our vice captain both being taken out of the game by one move of a foot. We've got 2 of arguably perceived best defenders, the same situation in the same 2 players. I'm also interested your thoughts on James's comment, because I hadn't even considered Snowden in this as being an actual fault, but James is very, very specific here. Clark shouldn't, like, the blame should be with Clark. It's Wright's man, and Snowden didn't get back in. His recovery run wasn't there. I hadn't even considered Snowden at this point.
Was Snowden playing on the left? Was he?
No, he gave away the free kick, I believe, and then didn't track back the run.
Yeah, because I was trying to look earlier when we were talking about it, but the Sky Sports highlight don't go as far back as given the free kick. Because I think didn't Kilkenny try to stand over the free kick to prevent a free
kick? He just passed it sideways instead.
Yeah. I mean, obviously at that point, I kind of maybe see where Jay's talking about, but at the same time, I think we've obviously done an attacking move. There was talk about whether it was a free kick in the first place or whatever, but you know, Snowden's already committed. But I've just freeze framed part of the move forward. There were 4 players that could have done something about that. You know, they Bristol Rovers had, I think it was Quigley and somebody else. One player was in an offside position, so he was redundant. For me, there's a communication issue there. That was the big issue. Not just the fact that Wright was obviously running in treacle, but the issue for me is somebody should be telling Wright at that point, or Clark, because if Clark puts a challenge in, yes, it's risky, but he's not the last player. So there's if he wins the ball or he has a contact that isn't malicious, then he doesn't get booked. But I understand, I do get the point around that, but there needs to be communication there. And I think it's Knight LaBelle possibly. Doesn't matter. Again, we look at experience. You know, you could say if Taff was there, is he shouting across? But the point is Taff wasn't there. You know, this is a decision that was made by Holloway that we've got the players in there. Communication is a fundamental point of any defence. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. So somebody should be telling Wright, you can put a challenge in. When I look at it on the replay, there are 2 Sunderland players not doing anything that are behind Will Wright. They should be telling him, you can put a challenge in. Put your foot in. That we hear it all the time, didn't we? When we were playing Sunday, just put your foot in. Just put a foot in. Put a challenge in. And that's what should have happened. I have to admit, when I saw the goal, I went into pure Fyfie mode, and for me, that was probably for me one of the worst goals we've conceded in terms of the build up towards it. The goal itself was brilliant. The finish was great. Again, you're right. We should know he likes to cut in on his left foot. Again, but there's a situation there just after he cuts in on his left foot that Knight LaBelle could have maybe closed him down a bit quicker because again he wasn't doing anything. So yeah, it was a category of errors, and like I say, if Wright and Clark, I just don't understand what they were trying to do, because don't get me wrong, I know he's not the fastest, but Wright is faster than that. What we saw, Wright is faster, and I agree with Wazza. If he puts a bit of pressure on him and turns it into a bit of a shoulder to shoulder, he shows him down the wing. He takes him down. He takes him down his right foot. So yeah, it was just disappointing because when things like that happen, you rue the chances that not necessarily that they were easy chances, but ones where the keeper's pulled off 2 really good saves beforehand. You kind of sit there and you go, God, this isn't going to be our day, and then we don't defend properly to help it. So yeah, for me, there was communication issue because nobody's told. You can just see it. Watch the replay. You can see nobody's telling Wright and Clark, you've got time. You can push them out wide. You can do this. You can do that. You shouldn't need, in my opinion, you shouldn't need to be a captain to do that. You shouldn't need to be a leader to be able to talk to your other defenders. I've got 15, 16-year-old girls that will tell each other to go and do that. They're not. They've been playing the game for 8 years. So it's there's a fundamental communication issue there. Is that the reason Mbappe not in? Because his communication isn't very good with the rest of the back line? I don't know. But I just think, and unfortunately, Tapazoli wasn't available, because I genuinely believe if Tapazoli was in there, he's telling him it wouldn't have been a goal. Although Tapazoli's made some howlers himself, to be fair. But it missed a communication piece for me. That's what broke it down.
Well, communication will be a topic of discussion shortly when we talk about the reason supposedly that Mr. Holloway got sent off. Maybe his communication isn't quite up to scratch either. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Was very, very disappointing time to concede, of course. What was the feel at half-time? That it was a kick in the teeth? We could still get back into it? The game was still there?
All of what you said. It was my only concern was that you've just given Bristol Rovers exactly what they wanted. Like we all know how Steve Evans sets up his sides, and that was perfect for him. That was the perfect first half for him. Soaked up some pressure. Keepers made a couple of good saves. Haven't really done much in the game. And you give Steve Evans side a lead at half time, you knew what that second half was all going to be about. And it was complete and utter shit house. Like they were time wasting at 47, 48 minutes when we started the second half. The goalkeeper was slow from goal kicks. Everything was slow from them. Anything that was going out of play, they had people going down in the 50th minute, going to try and waste time. And that's what concerned me the most at halftime, because you knew, and fair play to Steve Evans, because he's done this for years, and this is how he sets his teams up. I felt like at halftime that we weren't going to come back and win the game. I thought a draw was going to be the best result, because at halftime, for me, a Steve Evans side, he would go. His halftime team talk is, lads, the worst we come away with here is a point, because he would have set them up to counter like they did, to waste time, to defend, and just to try and spoil what we were trying to do. And they nearly done that, to be honest. So yeah, Jay's point is unbelievable. These officials have got it so wrong. So what he's added there, 3 minutes, is just saying that he's added time for the substitutions, not for the time that Rovers have spent on the floor, for the times the keeper's wasted, for the amount of times that he's made this signal to the crowd, like he's stopped his watch, like he's adding this on, that he's made a decision. And then we got 3 minutes of injury time. I looked over at the board. I thought it said 8 because that would have been more realistic than the 3 that was actually given. It was embarrassing. But less said about the official. I thought he was, to be honest with you, I thought he was an awful official. I heard someone say that he got demoted from the championship last week, so I can clearly see why, because he was horrendous in my eyes. I thought he made some shockers.
Did you want to start the EFL chant again?
Yeah, I wasn't impressed with the referee at all. I thought he was. I just thought I don't think it. And he didn't have control of the game, which is something you need to have in a derby. And I just thought it wasn't really for him. But the adding on for the minutes was just an absolute disgrace. Do you know what I mean? They added on 5 or 6 in the first half, and then the second half, I felt like there was more time wasting, and they've added on 3. So you know what I mean? For me, work that out. It was embarrassing. But yeah, on your point, I thought at half time, I was more concerned, thinking, God, we just need to get something out of this game, because a loss would have been, for me, you know what I mean? There's been a bit of a meltdown with a draw, but the loss would have been deemed as catastrophic, wouldn't it?
Well, mine and Ben's conversation in the group chat would have been a lot more interesting had it have been a defeat instead of a draw. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I would have left the group.
Okay. Arch, we talk about the second half, and we'll talk about some positive moments shortly. But we rode our luck at times. In particular, one that springs to mind, I think it was Harrison, their attacker, very nearly scored their second from close range. If I remember right, possibly diving header. But it looked like he really should have scored.
Yeah, no, I think, just going back to the first half, just before they scored, my mate said, this is building here, it's coming. And I went, I worry we haven't taken our chances. And literally, they countered with that. And yeah, it was horrendous. But yeah, second half, yeah, I thought it was a great goal from Palmer. I thought Palmer played really well. I think I even said at one point, we just don't use him right, which goes back to the chap's comments that people aren't necessarily being used right and the tactics are wrong.
Yeah.
Clark's yellow, I haven't watched that back, but I didn't really see what he did wrong anyway.
No, he didn't.
No, I thought it was all the player. I don't know. Sorry if that's the first half. I can't remember, but yeah, it must have been because they scored in the first half.
I think it was in the corner, wasn't it? He booked both. He booked the Rovers player because they were grappling each other and they kept doing it. And in the end, he decided to book both of them, didn't he? He booked the Rovers player and Clark as well.
But he warned them just beforehand because it was going on, and then Clark stood there just with his arms out.
With his arms out.
The bloke pulled him down, dragged him to the floor. And Clark actually did nothing, but the ref booked both of them. The only going on, butting in there, Arch.
You're right.
The only thing on about the ref, well, a couple of things really. When he was crap for both sides, and he was consistent, which you asked for consistency, and he was bad for both. I think we got away with one right at the end of the game with Clark in the corner, and we got the free kick, and it looked like. They should have got the free kick. Well, I think we were lucky. He was then.
Through, wasn't he? He was through, matey boy, wasn't he? And he gave the foul. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was.
And we got away with one there. And the thing about the 3 minutes, that was frustrating. But we should be relying on stoppage time to win a game. We should have had it wrapped up before that. It always seems when we're winning in a tight game, there's 7 or 8 minutes stoppage time, and when we're not, there's 3 or 4 minutes when we're trying to push to get a winner. But again, that shouldn't really come into it. We should have had the game wrapped up before then.
3 minutes was an awful shout.
Oh yeah, it was.
Because I remember being away at Barnet. But Arch, do you remember we're hanging on at Barnet? Fyfie, we're hanging on, and I don't feel like there was
8 minutes.
And there was 8 minutes away at Barnet, and we're winning the game 2-1. And I'm just like, where's he got 8 minutes from? Because even we questioned that, and then we got 3 minutes at home, and I felt like it was exactly the same.
It was wrong. 3 minutes was wrong, but I was glad because we were shaky as fuck in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
we were.
actually quite pleased, but yeah, it was an awful shout. It was definitely more than that. But if it was 8, we might have lost.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Let's talk about the positive moment. Arch's already alluded to it in his little segment there. Ollie Palmer on the score
You sure
sheet.
you don't want to go to Nick? You sure you don't want to go to Nick for this one?
No, I'll stick with you, Was. A couple of things of note I want to just sort of lead you in with here. First of all, what a delicious ball it was. The defender tried as he might, but he was never getting to it. Point 2, beautiful finish. Absolutely stunning finish. And third, and I say this somewhat jokingly as a larger gentleman myself, if anyone ever dare question both Palmer's passion and his pace, look at how quick he fucking sprinted back to the halfway line.
That's what so that for me is what I loved, because he could have quite easily, he's not scored in a while, he could have quite easily mopped up his moment and ran over to the town end and you know what I mean, and ran over and given it a big celebration. He thought, no, I want to win this game. And that's where his experience comes in. He thought, first thing I want to do is I want to get this game back going again. We're on the ascendancy now. Let's try and win the game. It was our 2 best players linking up in the game. I thought Batty had his best game for us. I thought he was brilliant. I thought his set-piece delivery, we've been moaning that we've been missing someone like Munro. I think it took him a few games just to adapt. You know what I mean? Young lad moving down from, you know what I mean, probably away from his family. You forget those little personal sides of things. Do you know what I mean? Some people warm to it quicker than what some people do. I thought he was really impressive on Saturday. I thought he was really good on the ball. I thought he was decent off the ball defensively as well. And hopefully this is the start of, you know what I mean? And this is hopefully the start of fucking Holloway stop going on saying, oh, we miss Munro, we miss Munro, we miss Munro, we miss Munro. Because it's just doing my head and he's not here no more. Get over it. You know what I mean? We've got to start backing what we've got. And I was really impressed with Batty. The ball in was brilliant, right on Palmer's foot. And I thought it was a great finish. Like I say, and I agree, and people are right in saying we haven't seen enough of that from Palmer, but that was his best game that we've seen him have easily. He seemed confident. The audacious lob that he tried to have a go at the keeper, I thought it was in. I shouted it was in, and the keeper's made a decent save. But that was Palmer's best game. It seemed like he had energy about him. He was he was pressing for us, and yeah, great finish. And yeah, it's a shame we had a couple of moments after that, like you say, that he had a couple of chances where he's flicked it over the keeper really close to the goal, and the defenders just got in ahead of him, and he could have quite easily scored the winner, Palmer, in a couple of areas that we had chances. But yeah, I was really impressed. Batty and Palmer for me were our 2 best players, and it showed in our goal that it was those 2 linking up that brought us back into the game. And yeah, it was probably the least we deserved was the point. But like Arch said, we could have quite easily lost the game in the second half as well, because Bristol Rovers did have their chances on the break and a couple of moments. So people saying that we were dominant, I get that. But in the key moments, I look at it and think that probably a draw was probably about right. But I'm really happy for Palmer. As Jay said in the comments, I'm a big fan of his. And I want to see it. We need to see it now for the last 10 games, don't we? We need to see it. We need someone like an Ollie Palmer now to fire us to try and get us into this top 3. And he could play a big part, especially where Drinan for us has been a bit off the boil. And, you know what I mean, not his confident self. I don't think he scored in 5 now. I don't know if people call that a lot of games, but with where he is, it's one of them. But yeah, we need Palmer now. And hopefully this goal sort of lights the touch paper for him now. And that he can start scoring a few, being more effective in the games and stuff like that. And I like to see that on Saturday we were getting players around him, which is what we've been crying out for. Arch said it earlier, that we're playing the right players, but not playing to their strengths and not doing it right. Palmer's just as good, and I agreed with a comment that Rich said last week's. Palmer's just as good on the floor. He's just as good on the floor than he is in the air. And if not, maybe a little bit better on the floor. But I think we're obsessed with this big man striker that we compared him to Harry Smith. He's not like Smith. He's not like Harry Smith at all. Palmer's better at getting the ball down and finding a pass and dropping deep into the 10 and picking it up for us. But what was great about Saturday, and it was one of the positives for me, is that when he was getting the ball up to him, and whether it was going long or whether it was coming into his feet, we had people around him to get the options to. There was people there. And that was what helped us. And it created chances for us and stuff like that. And in certain moments, we could have nicked it and won the game. But yeah, I was impressed with him. We need him to step up again and do it more now.
Just before we carry on, the first in what we hope will be a rest of the season-long segment of reasons we love Ollie Palmer. Just some news coming into FRI HQ. I'm led to believe that our game on Easter Bank Holiday Friday away at Cambridge has been moved to Thursday night instead of Friday afternoon. Just to please everybody. So yes, so no longer are we playing them on the bank holiday at 3:00. We're now playing them on the Thursday night instead. Good
luck going across the M25 and the M40 on a fucking Thursday before Easter. The fucking plonkers. Absolute bellends.
You could tell by the reaction of tonight's panel that is just the news they wanted to hear. Woody, I know you would love to come in on an Ollie Palmer love-in. However, I'm going to save your blushes because we've had a request to make this 5-a-side team a 6-a-side, and I'm going to invite the chairman of the Junior Hoylett Appreciation Society to say why Ollie Palmer was so good on Saturday. Evening, John.
Hello, and you just give me the worst news ever because I've booked the hotel for the Friday in Cambridge.
Oh, no! Oh.
Jesus Christ, the whole family as well.
Told you wouldn't go.
I was trying to get the Archers, trying to make them go in their fucking van thing they got. They would go, oh, we'll wait and see. I was like, fuck it, I'll put the Premier in or whatever. And it was a nice one as well. It was a new one. I won't be going there then, will I?
Told you.
Thursday night.
Stop being tight, John, and book the 2 nights.
You got to work the Thursday. You got to work the Thursday.
Fucking, you don't work, John.
Well, I try not to work. Yeah.
So Sean's saying my son's just gone mad about the Cambridge change. James said Thursday. What the fuck?
Saturday, I was doing the old dad thing when I was going to take the oldest to Cambridge University and all sorts. Fucking bollocks. What a load of bollocks. I guess it's on Sky on the Thursday night then, is it?
Fuck the EFL.
Every cloud.
It's bad enough having to go. Yeah, it would have been on Sky anyway. It's bad enough having to go to County Ground at 12:30 on a Saturday. Jesus Christ.
You should save yourself 300 notes, John.
That'll do, Fyfie. Kick him out now.
Yeah, see you later.
He's had his rant.
The thing is, you say that, Nick. He didn't even know. He didn't know.
I didn't know until you just said.
So I was watching his reaction as I said it, and so he was in the lobby, and all I saw was. And he had the dog in his arm. The dog got thrown like he was my
dog.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, John, Cambridge aside, Ollie Palmer.
Yeah, he did a job. That first half, like Wazza said, they're trying to get people in and around him. I think we tried to get Junior in and around him a bit, but he didn't. There was a few like came off his shoulder and a couple of headers he knocked on that Junior's can't get up the pitch quick enough to get onto the end of them. But that's why I just think Drinnen would be better off out wide when we play Palmer, just to try and get runners off him. Yeah, but I'm not convinced by him and Drinnen trying to play through the middle. But I guess Drinnen was out a bit more wide on the right hand side at the weekend. But Palmer, he put in a shift, put in some decent challenges, and he put one in just in front of us in the Don Rogers that got everyone up. So, like Nick said earlier, you want some people with a bit of passion inside. I think Palmer sort of put enough in at the weekend to show that he is putting a shift in for us. So hopefully that can continue.
And Nick, on the subject of Palmer, was a mention aside from his goal, he had the audacious volley which looked like it was either going nowhere near the goal or was flying into the net, and it didn't actually do either. And then it did cause the keeper to make a save. It was one for the cameras, but he made a save.
Oh, yeah.
And there was also one where I want to say, and please forgive me if I've got this wrong, I think it was possibly Mo on the left-hand side, cut inside, and all he had to do was lay it off to him, but he decided to shoot instead.
Yeah. 100%. There was also one where there was a big shouts for a penalty where, and
yes,
right on
the
right on the post. I had a look at it in the highlights, and in fairness, I don't think it was a penalty.
I don't.
But again, in that
I'm screaming
moment,
for it if I'm there.
yeah, it was a big shout for it. So
it was more of a penalty than Drinnan's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with you there. Don't go back there. But the goal, I've seen it from so many different angles, and every different angle you see it gets better. It was such a good goal from all aspects of it. So old hands up. Wasn't his biggest fan, but couldn't fault him on Saturday. He did a job. Someone mentioned as well defensively. Certainly near the end of that game, he was winning headers in our box where we were looking really, really dodgy. His all-round game, his all-round game was good. But the selection around him is probably the bigger concern, and the subs we brought on at the time we brought them on. Hoylett, I would have pulled him at half time. He didn't do anything. I'd have put Olakukbe on.
With John on the screen now.
Well, he didn't. Well, no, that's not true. One decent cross for Drinnan, and that's about all he did.
I agree with you, dude, Nick. He's out. He's totally out of position. But I think you had this conversation earlier. I just don't understand if you bring him. He looks like a player you should bring off the bench. Me personally, I still think you should come off the bench, and then he should go in at number 10. If you're going to put Ollie Clark in at the back, I just think he has to come in as a number 10.
I'll go with you on that.
The whole point of him playing on the left.
Well, there's so many things you can bring up about team selection and players, what positions they've been put in. I guess you got to ask the question, we got too many bloody players, it clouds his judgment.
Well, it's a comment that I did see made earlier, yes. Do we have too many options in the squad? Try telling that to our defensive coach.
Well, apart from centre-halves.
Woody, all jokes aside... Yeah, this is true. Woody, all jokes aside, though, it does stem to what is my biggest problem throughout this season is Swindon Town are a team that score really good goals and concede the shittest of goals.
Yeah, but I think realistically, and I know we are where we are in the league, and sometimes we have some terrible performances, but when you look at the players and the personnel we've got, I'd kind of expect some good goals. We're probably waiting for that kind of 25-yarder from Hoylett at some point as well. So it's I mean we do concede shit goals, but I think we've said it several times, there's not many. League Two does give you that. You're either going to get some absolute thunder bastards, or you're going to get some really poor tap-ins. We've had a couple of poor goals recently. If you think about Kirkman's at Shrewsbury.
That's a goal in a season contender. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so what I will say though, because I have been his biggest critic, and I always said that I would, I'd give him his credit where it's due. The highlights I've seen, Palmer was very good on Saturday, and his finish was class, absolute class. But I agree that the reason I've probably not liked him as much is because of the way that we play with him. Yeah. He doesn't offer what we need him to do. Like I still don't agree that necessarily if he wins the header we haven't got players near him, because where he's playing on the field, if he's not playing a bit deeper, you're not going to have players all the time around you anyway. But if you play into feet, he can hold the ball up when it's played to his feet. I still don't think he's very strong when it comes to his chest and his head. But 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 I have actually, to be fair, in this period where we've probably been quite critical, and rightly so, of the fan base. I've actually said the last few games I think Palmer's been better than what he had been leading into, say, Christmas, for example, because he's been playing. I mean, I said against Bromley, that first half against Bromley, I would have said before. Obviously, I wasn't there on Saturday, but before Saturday's game, that first half against Bromley was the best 45 I'd seen him play, because he was playing in that deep role. He knows where players are going to be around him. I don't agree that we can have Hoylett and we can't. For me, and this is going to be slightly controversial, we can't have Hoylett and Palmer both play, in my opinion, if we want to play dynamic football. If we are going to do that, we need to almost play a 4-2-4 kind of thing. Put Hoylett in the 10 with possibly Fletcher, Ullman, or Driner on either side with Palmer, and then you can have Palmer and Hoylett kind of interchanging like that. But then that puts a lot of work on the two midfielders, because, and as much as I love Hoylett, and again I'm going to get shot, I can already see Archer's going to scave in a minute. If we put Hoylett in that 10 role with 3 other forwards, it will be Old Acre Mark II. Because Hoylett is very similar defensively to Old Acre.
I was just about to say, you couldn't have
Woody.
you couldn't have Old Acre and Palmer in the same side, can you? So yeah,
no, you can't. I don't think you could have. I don't think you could have Hoylett and Palmer. In the 10 behind Palmer.
No one's slower than Darren Oldacre going back.
It's not about being slow, though, is it? It's about the defensive mouse. I don't think Hoylett has that massive.
But we saw it at MK Dons, didn't we? In the second half, it just doesn't work. And we tried it again.
I'm typically such an advocate for what Woody says, but the comparison there between Old Acre and Hoylett is a terrible shout on your behalf, Woody.
Why though?
Because I actually do think, from the snippets I've seen,
he's talking about system, though, Fyfie.
I'm on about the system.
But the straight comparison, I think Junior Hoylett does offer more defensively than Old Acre does as well.
Yeah.
I guess
we haven't seen him in the middle yet. We haven't seen him in the middle yet. It's easy. It's not easy, but it's easier to mark when you've just got the channel to worry about. That's a lot easier defensively than having a whole period of probably 20 yards either side of you, 15 yards either side of you. Now, that's not an excuse for Old Acre, by the way. I'm just saying that if we put Hoylett in that 10, we have to have someone like Clark behind him, because you won't get the energy from Hoylett defensively.
Woody, Arch hates your comment. He's fucked off.
That's fine. You can hate my comment. That's fine. I'm right, so that's all that matters.
Nick, both sides had opportunities to win it at the end. Most notably, the last kick of the ball. Swindon had a corner, and there was a bizarre ricochet in amongst the Bristol Rovers defence that somehow ended up in the goalkeeper's arms. Did you think either side were going to win it, or did you think when it came to, I think what was described as the terrible amount of added on time, did you think that a draw was almost certainly the outcome?
To be honest, I was more worried that they were going to snatch it. Every time they did go forward, and certainly when they were knocking balls into the box with Clark going back into that defence, it didn't look secure. So there was a definite worry. It would have been a typical Evans side that they snatch it in death. But similarly, like you say, that that ball was bobbing about, and I think it hit their defender and went straight into the arms of the keeper, which was virtually the last kick of the game. So yeah, either side could have. And I say earlier, we were lucky we got away with one with Clark getting a foul right in the corner, and their player would have been at least had a goal scoring opportunity. I don't say he would have scored necessarily, but we were lucky with that. So overall, I think even though their keeper made maybe 4 or 5 pretty decent saves, I don't think Ripley, I can remember having any major save to make. So from that point of view, on that basis, we should have won it. But overall, for a derby and the way it panned out, Probably a draw. I don't think you could really argue with from my 90 minutes of watching it.
Arch, one thing that was argued, to segue nicely, and the only thing we haven't really spoken about from the game, is the bizarre moment where the referee held up a red card towards the direction of the Swindon bench, and nobody seemed to know who was being sent off. After a few moments, the man decked out in his Bristol Rovers tribute checked shirt decided that he would be the one to walk down the tunnel. And I'm sure we've all seen the quotes from his opposition manager that sort of suggested that he couldn't understand or believe the language that was coming out of Mr. Holloway's mouth. And he seems to have been sent off for what we will describe as foul and or abusive language stroke dissent.
You've gone to the right person here. You've gone to the right person here. I can't wait for this.
I won't go into the specifics. I'll leave that to you, Arch. But what do you make of the whole situation?
Go on, Arch.
I think I
Say it, Arch. Say it.
I put it in group, didn't I? About it's just hypocrisy. He wants everyone to lead by example. Everyone had to have the right attitude. Yet he's signing players that he says can't concentrate. Do you know what I mean? But if he costs us this, he'll lose everyone. They won't get rid of him. But if he costs us this, and there's a fair chance, because we don't even know how long he's banned for. To be fair, do we? It could be he could get a 6-match ban. We don't know.
Woody, what would you say is textbook? I will come back to you on this, Arch. I just want to say, what would you say is textbook for the use of, let's refer to it as recreational language?
I think he dropped a C-bomb. He dropped a C-bomb somewhere, hasn't he? I don't know if I buy in.
Squarely at the direction of the referee, from what I gather.
I think it was Richie Smallwood, wasn't it?
He called Will Wright a useless cunt, probably. But no, yeah. But I don't know if I buy into Steve Evans' kind of over dramatising of the situation. I think, and we'll probably talk about like the consequences and that. But I just think that in those situations, sometimes you don't even need a booking. If you're getting all the fourth officials' nerves, or I don't think there was any offence because was it the female official on that side? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There's no way in her game 2 that she's getting abused. There's no way that that's happening. Even Holloway's not that stupid.
Playing the offside.
Woody, it was Richie Smallwood, I think.
Yeah. So and obviously Richie Smallwood got sent off for Bradford in the at our place. So, but I personally think not that it's necessarily an excuse. There is something wrong mentally, potentially at the moment. I don't know if it's the pressure. I've said in the group, I don't understand necessarily that to a full extent, but he's obviously berated the fourth official, berated the players, and it is in the rule book. You know, you can't sit there and effing blinding and all sorts all the way through the game and then expect to get away with it. So and especially nowadays when everybody's a sensitive soul, aren't they, at the moment? So you know, even I control my words in the dugout nowadays. So it's and I've been known for it. So
it's the coach of the under-16 girls team.
Yeah. I've had to now. I've been forced to. But yeah, I don't, like I say, I don't buy in that it's as bad as Steve Evans has made it out to be, because he's a bit of a drama queen in himself. But he was obviously just berating, and the fourth official's gone, look, Ollie said this, come over here, get him off.
It's a massive hypocrite comment from Steve Evans, isn't it? I swear I've seen him on the touchline before at Swindon. When Luke Rooney will break his fucking legs or something like that.
Yeah.
When Steve Evans.
Well, he's had enough bans for it as well, hasn't he?
Oh, 100%. So for him to come out and say like,
now he's lost the weight, he's not as aggressive anymore.
But you do wonder if that's maybe, because the one thing I'll give Steve Evans credit for is he's a very good wind-up merchant. And I do wonder if he's saying that to, you know, because he finished it off, did he, with, I'll call Holloway on Tuesday. It's like he's stirring. I think he's stirring.
he basically said he's not the Holloway I know and all this sort of
Yeah, which is bollocks because Holloway is aggressive on the sideline when he can be. So we all know that. But I agree with Arch. I think in a game like that, yes, it's nice to see. I mean, Nick was saying earlier, it's nice to see players and managers who've got a bit of them, got a bit. But there's giving them and there's giving abuse, isn't there? There's getting fired up with your players kicking it out for a throw in, and there's getting fired up when you really want your players get engaging in challenges. But if you're just sat there abusing players and officials, then that's not what we want to see. We just want passion in a different direction.
But I said the other week. Sorry, I said the other week that for me, I think Holloway and he shouldn't be feeling it, but I think he's feeling the pressure.
Oh yeah.
And I said in our group
games to his name, sure.
Exactly. But I said in our group chat that I hope he gets a 3-match ban and has to go up in the stands, because if he's doing that, and if that's then reflected on our players, if they're seeing the pressure that he's coming under and not dealing with it, then that's going to affect how our players act, and then they become scared to play the football that they should be in a controlled and relaxed manner, and they're too scared to put a pass wrong if they're going to get the shout from him off the touchline. So if he does get X amount of bans off the touchline, it might do us some good. It might be a bit calmer. And I read the comment that Big Nut gives the post-match interview, and it was quite calm, quite sensible.
Analytical as well.
He actually talked. I was going to say he actually talked about the football.
With Holloway not in the dugout, we won the game technically. Big Nut won that game 1-0.
It was nice to see Marcus back down there, wasn't it? Because he does bring a bit of a calmness and a bit of a... Because it does seem very, like, with Mildenhall and Gunning and stuff, it can be a bit erratic at times, can't it?
You can imagine Gunning and Holloway are really winding each other up for 90
minutes.
Well, I'm still convinced that booking... Sorry, Richard.
Sorry, if Gav gets it, it's season over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's face it.
Well,
he's holding the reins, fucking write it off now.
Because I'm still convinced. You remember at Barnet, Gav got booked, didn't he? Gav Gunning got booked. That was 100% Holloway, and Gav Gunning's gone, nah, that was me. And he's taken one for Holloway there, I reckon, at that game, because like the referees 9 times out of 10 don't actually know who said it, who said something, so they have to default to the manager because it's the manager's responsibility to control the dugout. But if somebody's coming up to you and go, yeah, that was me, I reckon Gav Gunning took one for Holloway on that game against Barnet.
John, just before I throw it back to Arch to conclude on his point, I can see James has put on comments in the chat. John, let them know what I told you. Do you boys really know what happened? So go on, John, fill us in. What are we missing?
I can't even remember what James told me, to be honest, but I think it was him that told me, because he's right there. He's right in there behind them with all his lot. So
he's in the dugout, isn't he, James?
I reckon he told you that he put the Premier in at Cambridge as well.
He's driving to Crawley on Saturday. If anyone wants to jump in, he's got a lovely new Tesla. So I think he said it was Richie Smallwood. He pushed Clark into the dugout, and then Holloway's reacted to that. But Richie Smallwood,
Holloway wouldn't have nothing against his love child, Ollie Clark, mate. He will not have.
No, so he's a bit of an enforcer, isn't he, that Smallwood? But my opinion of it is, and you can all shoot me down, but like that Evans' tactics in that first half were perfect for Evans, and he smashed and grabbed one goal, hasn't he? And in my opinion, I think it's just all gone to Holloway's head, and he's just lost the plot and tried to get out of it. If I not get out of there, but it's an easy exit, isn't it? Just keep mouthing off, I suppose. And I still
creating an excuse.
At the time when I'm sat with Arch and I'm sat with Wazza, and I'm thinking he's just been out fought that first half, and his head's just gone now, and he ain't got a fucking clue what he's doing, and he just.
I think I turned to you two and said, "There's his excuse in his post match now, because that's what."
And he can blame the referee then, or he can blame Richie Smallwood, and he can do. Why is Richie Smallwood not being sent off? Because he was giving it as good as me and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think he just got out fought in that first half. I know they only had one shot on goal. They fucking scored from it. So, but I think Evans done a job on him, and Evans was probably winding him up as well. And they probably the whole of the Rovers bench were winding him up, and his head's gone. That's what I think's happened, and I think he's been out fought that first half.
Arch, throwing it back to you then.
No
We had more attempts on goal. We had more attempts on target. I think that the stat was 13 corners to their 1. Is it, when you look at the bigger picture and how, with the exception of Bromley, I think virtually all the other results kind of went our way. Is it a point gained or 2 points dropped?
I think Derby game, you just never know how it's going to go, do you? I think even Wazza said, form goes out the window for a game like that. But what, in my opinion, is if we don't beat Crawley, we get done by Scott Lindsay. That's it. And Holloway's put the pressure on us even more because potentially ain't going to be there. And as I've said, between Holloway, Clark, Drinnan, how many did I say it was? How many? A third of our games they've missed between them.
Yep.
And he's the one preaching to everyone. You need to come back. Everyone's backed him. We backed him at Shrewsbury. We backed him at Barnet. They backed him against Rovers, and that's how he acts. People in glass houses.
Mate, you're absolutely right. I myself have messaged the group plenty of times. It's been on my socials as well. That double header away weekend where it was Shrewsbury and Barnet, they had over 2,500 fans at those 2 games combined. Yeah. They've had another over 12,000 fans on Saturday. It pains me to say, but I just don't feel this current Swindon team deserve the fans they get because they keep asking us to turn up. We keep doing it, and they keep not turning up for us.
Say, what was there? Just over 10 home.
Yeah.
So that's easily our biggest gate this season, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a weird one at the moment because I feel like the players have got the connection. Certain players have got the connection with the fans, but I think Holloway's losing his connection with the fans massively. I don't.
Slagging us off was.
Yeah, well, yeah, I agree, and I just think little things like I don't buy his excuse. Oh, I don't want to celebrate now and come over at the end of a game and give you a cut. I think that's utter bollocks. I think if you're away from home and we took like we did, there's no harm, win or lose or draw, that Holloway walks over with his players and just gives the fans a bit of appreciation. I think he just sometimes think, well, you should fucking turn up, and that's what really pisses me off. I just think he's got a bit of an arrogance, and maybe rightfully so because of the career that he's had and the clubs that he's been at and whatever. But I just think it's a bit wrong against the fans at the moment. I really do. I just think it's not superstitious, Jay. I think it's rubbish. I just think you should come over and I just think appreciate and have a bit of. I think he is losing his connection with the supporters. I really do, and a lot of people are starting to get pissed off with it. I was a massive Holloway fan at the start of the season. All these boys will say that I was best thing that's happened in a long time. But at the moment, he's really starting to grate on some of the supporters just for some of the comments and the sarcasticness and in his conferences and stuff like that. I just don't like it.
Passive aggressive has just turned aggressive.
Yeah, I just think it's totally wrong. We all remember a situation at Barnet, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, where the fans were rightfully so to have their chance to have given an opinion, and he didn't like it. And I'm sorry, we're entitled to our opinion. We pay our money, we turn up in our numbers, and if we want to give an opinion, we will give it. And
let's face it, if he loses his head with the fans, or someone asking him a question, he's
completely fucked. And I just think
Steve Evans is going to fucking dry.
Yeah. I just think little things all right, Ollie.
Sorry.
Yeah, just coming over at the end. I don't think there's no harm. You know what I mean? And just giving the fans a bit of appreciation. I think most people would appreciate. I was at Oldham at the start of the season, close to the start of the season, and this is something that's grated on him because when at Oldham, he come over and he gave the fans a lot of appreciation. So there's something that's happening through the season which he doesn't agree with the supporters that has made him turn full circle. I'm not having this.
Yeah.
Warsaw, he didn't shut up about it.
Yeah, but that's
Okay. Well, look, we are already well into added on time, and we've only just got to the end of talking about the game on Saturday. I'll throw it open to all of you. Is there anything I haven't raised as a specific talking point that you want to mention at this juncture?
I'm interested in this comment that Jay's put through. Someone abused him for Saturday from the article.
Yeah, I forgot
Now-
to say that. Apparently, a couple of fans had to pop it in
yeah,
before he got sent off.
Right, I'm gonna lay back because I agree with Wazza. I'm a big Holloway fan in what he can produce. I fundamentally disagree with his engagement. I fundamentally disagree with what he's doing on the engagement or lack of engagement on with the fans. But this talk about abusing from Saturday, etc. And whilst I agree, I don't personally do it. But fucking grow up, man. You've been in the game for however many years.
Over 1,000 games.
This isn't a Swindon Town thing. This isn't an Ian Holloway thing. If you're not winning the game and you're the manager of the team, you're probably going to get a bit of abuse from a couple of people. If you've got 12,000 people there, there's probably going to be at least 3 or 4 that aren't going to be happy when we concede. So
Yeah, you just see him stroll past Will Wright.
I'm not advocating anything, but we also need to understand, because the term abuse is thrown around.
Yes.
Was it, Ollie, this is fucking shit, what is going on? Or is it, you're a complete asterisk and your missus is an asterisk? Because that's two completely different things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But did you see Pep's interview at the weekend? They were saying to him, you were getting some stick from the opposition fans after the game, and he said,
Well, he
just
would do
sort of
at
smiled.
least,
He said, yeah. He said, well, what was it? He said, well, they just called me a wanker.
I love that, man.
And that's why I love Pep Guardiola.
yeah. He said, well, yeah. He said, I just said I was a wanker.
See,
so
While I can understand it, so James has just said here, sorry, Arch, it was along the lines of, sort it fucking out, Ollie, you're useless.
Okay.
That's.
But I don't I don't think that's that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I said
I'm going to be honest here. I'm going to be honest
to sort it
here.
out.
Sorry, Arch, you got your hand up, mate.
Cheers, mate. This is exactly the point I was trying to make in group, that if you call out everyone else's fucking behaviour, you have to expect
100%.
your own to get called out. You know? And again, we were shit against Crew. We played them away. It was the best we've played all season. We knew how to fucking ruin them. So rather than playing fucking football, we played oofball to try and confuse them. No, it's what we do to fucking everyone. You're not changing fuck all. So just play football and we'd probably beat them, especially with the players they had out. But yeah, if you're going to call everyone out for their wrongdoings, expect to be called out for your own. And I'm sorry, that's what's happened. And he's a dick.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And
that's the end of the show. See you later.
Yeah,
Well,
piss off about the Rovers.
Not quite Woody, because
I'm probably
With us on Friday, Ian Holloway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get him off. He'd be on for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it'll be our fault.
Who knows what we have to
let's turn.
He's got nothing else to do on Saturday, has he?
James is trying his best here. He's put he's class.
Oh, James loves it. James loves it.
Yeah, but so does everybody else have their faults. Like I agree. He's not perfect.
Look, at the end of the day, it's the best that Swindon Town can have hope for. Right
100%.
at this minute.
100%.
That's the only reason why I would back him. Otherwise, no.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I'm going to have my mic drop moment here now. Don't sit there and go, you need to back us, you need to support the team, you need to be positive, and then not even show appreciation when you've got 12 and a half. I know he got sent off, but you got 12,500 people there. You got 1,000 away at Barnet. You got 2,000 away at Shrewsbury, and not shown. And I agree 100%. I'm not expecting him to come over and give it to Scott Lindsay or anything like that. In fact, I'm quite happy with Ripley doing that and all that kind of stuff. But just thanks, guys. You know, like he did it at Luton. I don't know if the lads remember at Luton. He was like, he walked over and he was like that.
He knew what was coming, would he?
Yeah, redundant game.
And the tunnel at Luton's at the other side of the pitch, so we had to.
Yeah, even that was like just like that, like a little.
I hope you enjoyed this, guys and girls, because we're not getting any further despite the win.
Yeah, well done. We've just beaten the champions of the competition. Well done.
Again, that's what I said. He's cost those players that opportunity. Now they performed against, you know, the next level of League One a number of times to get where they got, and the club fucking let them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I wanted Luton to win, but I've not once thought until the other day the effect that might have on the players.
And the ironic thing is, though, the ironic thing on that is, I know you said Crewe away was our best performance. I obviously didn't see Crewe. Yeah, in the league, Luton for me has been one of our best performances that I've seen as of late. And it's
that second half was brilliant, Woody. I agree.
Yeah,
I did say in the league.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm firmly backing.
At least I know you read my
Town
messages,
FC
Woody.
to win the virtue. Listen, we are approaching the end, but we do need to shine light on what happened 24 hours later, because it was a fantastic weekend, as I said, for the women's teams that we do highlight on this show. Woody, there were goals galore, particularly at Swindon.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Marine Academy Plymouth were going to offer a little bit more, to be totally honest. I didn't watch the game, but I was very surprised. But I'll tell you one thing, though. I know we all talk about Annie Colston, but it's fucking brilliant to see players like Libby Davis getting.
Libby Davis is banging them in at the minute.
She's really banging them in. Which, when we talk about our team in the men's side, it's kind of like you go, when we had that period where if Drynan didn't score, nobody scored. And now we're at that period where people were scoring all over the pitch, and now we're kind of in between. So yeah, a fantastic result. I think 10-0 you don't tend to see obviously very often, but I think it's probably what Swindon needed, Ridgewood side needed. They needed to kind of put their stamp back on the league and put that continuous pressure, because Moneyfield's had a very convincing win over Abingdon. So they need to keep that pressure on. And I think I know there's the game in hand for Swindon, but when you're putting score lines like that away, that shows the team above you that we mean business, and we're not taking our foot off the pedal. And unfortunately, I didn't go to any game on Sunday in the end. But
you were at the wedding fair as well.
I was at the wedding fair, yeah, which I thought might finish before I could go to the game, but it didn't. I thought I'll go to the wedding fair, and that gets me a hall pass to go to watch one of the games. Boy, was I wrong.
Went because you wanted to do Cambridge away.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not here for Cambridge away, but I would have blagged it somehow. But yeah, no, it's a great result. Really good, really chuffed. And on that, back on the county ground pitch again as well. So, yeah, you can't complain. I don't know what the crowd was. I haven't looked at what the club aren't very good at. Unless they did, I didn't see anything. They're not very good at publishing the crowds for the women's games. And like I say, I have my conspiracy theories as to why that might be. But no, it's good. Good win. Good win.
I've got a question for you, Woody. Sorry, Fyfie.
Oh, sorry, John.
I've got a quick question for you, Woody. If your theory's correct, where will they end up playing next season, though? That's the problem.
Foundation Park, probably.
Okay. That's the only question I got. Sorry.
And then I'm right in saying one division below, aren't I? One division below, Swindon.
That's it. And Caution.
Yeah.
Two divisions.
Oh, is it two? Okay.
Yeah.
Two divisions below. There were away wins for both Bassett and Caution to keep the top of that division extremely tight.
Yeah, it's exactly. Me and Rich have said it many times, haven't we? That, well, especially from my point of view, as more of a neutral now, it's kind of it's good to see that there is a battle. You can't call it now. You can't. There's no runaway leader. Caution keep changing places. Mangotsville keep changing places. Obviously, Caution will, as I think was his favourite saying, is they're being the ones being chased now rather doing the chasing, even though they got more games played. So yeah, a good, from what I understand from Rich, a good solid performance really against Bolton, who we knew was going to be a tough side for them. It's a difficult pitch, difficult conditions. So yeah, 2-0's a very respectable win, I guess. But no goal for secret signing. I know it's no goal for secret signing.
No, Maddie wasn't on the score sheet this time.
No, so and then obviously Bassett
On the bench again, by the way. I did notice on the bench again, not getting a starting.
Yeah, I think that's probably just why she warms into it. To be fair, but the and then obviously a good result for Bassett. Bath again, Twerton Park, difficult place to go if you're the away team and you're not used to playing on those kind of National League-esque pitches. But yeah, it's they snatched it. It was 1-0, wasn't it? They snatched a 1-0 win through Tori Taylor.
I was going to say Tori scored, didn't she?
Another Laura Jeffries and Honor Fraser involvement, which is great. Yeah, so Bassett keeping the pressure on. 1-0 doesn't sound like a lot, but to stop Bath from scoring is a good achievement in itself. So yeah,
might not sound a lot, mate, but I would take Swindon Town winning 1-0 at some point.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Final question then, just to see us through to the 2-hour mark, and it only requires a one-word answer from you all. It's purely for banter at one of our panelists more than anything. Nick, I'm going to start with you, completely not Swindon Town related. Could Spurs actually get relegated?
I would say there's the same chance of Spurs getting relegated as Swindon winning the league, and you can take that which way you like.
Well, you've assured us that Swindon are winning the league, so I would say yes. John, Spurs going down?
Up until yesterday, I would have said no. So, but after that, saw the highlights of that first half yesterday. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I even fancy that Swindon's giving them a game at the minute. So, yeah, there's obviously problems with the fans are going against the owners, same as West Ham fans are going against the owners. So if you're going to go around how toxic it is, I would say Forest could be safe out of them lot. So I reckon it'd be out of West Ham and Spurs. Yeah, that could go down.
Okay. Arch?
Yeah.
Fair? Was?
Oh, mate, if Burnley would have got the win on Saturday, they would have been right back in it, wouldn't they? So they were unlucky. I thought they would have been 5 points off, and that would have brought another thing into the mix with a run that they've been on. They've won a few. But I think, yeah, Spurs could go down. They could go down.
Woody, you're looking visibly stressed about this.
No, because we're going to be the first team to win the Champions League whilst getting relegated from the Premier League.
Oh,
when Wigan won the FA Cup, they got relegated.
In the words of Jason Cundy, we dared to do.
Genuine question, Woody. Genuine question here. So I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans on the radio and stuff be asked, would you take winning the league and Spurs stay up, or not win the league and Spurs go down? They said, no, still win the league and stuff. You know, your joking comment there. Say Arsenal win the league and nothing else. They just win the Premier League. If Spurs win the Champions League but go down,
for football itself,
who's had the better season?
Well, you getting relegated is terrible, regardless of what you do in a cup competition.
You've won the Champions League.
Yeah, I know, but look, most teams don't really do very well after they've won the Champions League the season after. So, obviously,
Get much worse.
It's a bit like Ange's Ange winning the Europa League, isn't it? They sat there and they said, "Well, he's won the first trophy in X amount of years. Is it successful?" I don't think it was a success. It was a successful season in that competition, obviously, but it's not a. They have targets of being higher up in the league. And for me, the problem doesn't lie with the managers, but I'm not necessarily.
Let me rephrase it then.
No.
Sorry, Sophie. Just as a question for you then: if they won the Champions League and got relegated, would they be allowed in the Champions League the following season?
Yes.
Yeah,
As a championship side.
New champions.
Yeah, I think
as
they
the
can. Yeah,
champions.
yeah, yeah. I think
Either
can.
way,
I know champions.
UEFA will try and find a way to do it anyway. But to answer your question,
so let me just slightly rephrase it then.
why am I allowed to answer the relegation question?
You did. You did answer it. All right, you stay up and win the Champions League. Say it's 2019-18, 16th place finish and winning the Champions League, and Arsenal win the Premier League. Who's had the more successful season?
Oh well, Arsenal, haven't they? They've achieved their objective. It'd be the worst thing in football. I don't think people realise if Arsenal win the Premier League.
No, I'm very well aware. I thought it was bad when Liverpool won it, but it would be horrific if Arsenal won.
So the thing is obviously the Champions League's a good achievement, as obviously our Liverpool friends among us would know, and things like that. But it's a good achievement, but it's a cup competition at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? It's still a good achievement, but it's just a cup competition. You know, there are teams that are in the Champions League that wouldn't. You know, if you put who's the Swedish side that seem to be doing all right every now and then? Is it Bodo Glimt?
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo Glimt.
Norway.
Norwegian. Sorry, they always have a half decent run in the European competitions. Put them in the Premier League and they're getting relegated. You know, so
Woody apologising to all the Bodo Glimt fans watching this right now.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
It's only because Spurs beat them last season. That's the only reason why you brought them up.
Yeah.
In the semi-final.
One of the only English teams to beat them on their own turf.
So realistically, then, Woody, is the only way that this season is salvaged, if you like, is if, say, Spurs win the Champions League and finish 16th, and Arsenal finish second in the Premier League, lose the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, 100%. I've got Man City shirts ready. I've got. But I don't think Spurs will get relegated. I think
No.
I think it'll be close, but I don't think they'll get relegated. I think it's probably just got
At some
about
point, your
enough.
players have to get fit again, and then you should have more than enough.
Yeah, but we keep using this excuse. We don't back up. With the Spurs isn't a good enough squad. They don't have the finance. They're not getting the financial backing that massive stadium deserves. Things like that. Yeah, it was great stuff that Levy did, and all of this kind of stuff. Great, brilliant. But building the stadium wasn't enough. You need to build a squad and put the investment in the squad that's good enough to fill that stadium. And you know, when you see players, for me, genuinely, when you see players for me who genuinely had so much ability and potential, like Van der Ven and things like that, for me, he had the potential to go on to be one of the best players in the Premier League defensively. And I think he's been ruined because of the field. I mean, Tudor, I'm not even sure about why I wasn't happy with Ange getting sacked, to be entirely honest. But but then Thomas Frank wasn't exactly a miraculous replacement either. But I always said if you gave Pochettino Mourinho's budget, Spurs would have done a lot better. But it is what it is, isn't it?
Well, that was a fun way to conclude tonight's episode.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I've really enjoyed this. There's been a lot of great discussion. My thanks to everyone who's watched along and joined into the chat. As always, your contributions are very, very much appreciated. My thank you to all the guys for coming on tonight as well. Appreciated all the contributions from each and every one of you. We'll be back on Friday to preview another weekend, another cup final, and another team that we've got history with. We will have a great week, basically. Let's hope the weather stays dry for a bit, because Woz needs Cheltenham to dry out for next week. And we will see you again on Friday.
Ground, mate.
I'll be on there.
From everyone at FRI
Tuesday,
HQ, have a great week. Good night.
We're back again, like mates down the pub. Heart on sleeve, never tame. Yeah. From the chanting in the stands to the tackles flying in. Home and away, red blood, white shirt, where the fools rush in. Passion, debate, slaps, rants, late nights. Woody Bear, Nick, Rich, Walter, Kieran, side by side. Craig and Ned, Joe and Mark, Art, Jar, Gary in the dark. And all we got, Barry in. Yeah, the gang's all in.
Fools rushing like we're chasing one more win. We'll make you laugh, make you cry, feel happy, feel angry inside. Fools rushing like a last minute swing, just like back in Swindon's time.
We go up, we fall down. From the goals that lift the roof, unit grows when it goes wide. We argue, we agree, but you're all here on the right. By jumping in the chat, every story, every stat. Thank you for watching, for listening, commenting back. Save on tires on the ball, and us recruitment in our corner. This is our club, our crowd, turn it up a little louder.
Fools rushing like we're chasing one more